One of my biggest lessons in the indigenous community was the understanding of desire, of the perspective that we, all human beings, are born with a desire which sometimes can be translated for the willingness to have new experiences, different experiences. And I've always been brought up in big cities, and to me it was a very important lesson to see a whole perspective with the desire, which in the indigenous community I saw a desire to unity, a desire to harmony with other people, and harmony with the nature, which was very important for me to understand the whole perspective of sharing, caring, listening, and be there for the person next to it. For example, all the doors in the community are unlocked. There's not a house in the indigenous community that locks the doors, or even most of them, they don't even close the door. It's a very perspective of trusting one another, of being there for one another. Another important lesson in the indigenous community was their understanding of the time, which I was always brought up to see time as a linear way, past in the back, present and future. But for them they see time more as cycles, more as we living in the present, and with the present we can live in the past, in the present we can live in the future. So it's not so much as a linear way, but more as a whole of the moment in specific cycles. And that is extended to the way they live their life. The way, for example, the healers of the community, they would pick up the plants at a specific time, at a specific time with the moon. For example, only in the full moon they would pick up certain type of plants. So it was very much that broader perspective within the cycles of time, within the cycles of nature, within the cycles of people, which was a very important lesson, especially for me to adapt in the beginning with their lifestyle, with their way of living, which I had to adjust to the cycles of nature to feel more fulfilling. And once it became more naturally, it was very enriching experience.
Hecho dos, ya han llevado el gallo ya. Aquí tenemos un amigo. Saludos cordiales. ¿Desde dónde?
Portugal.
Portugal. Chévere, chévere. ¿Primera vez a ver el juego?
Primera vez, nunca visto.
¿Nunca ha visto? Ahora va a vernos, primera vez. Listo.
One of my last lessons of the indigenous community, and probably the most profound, which was the understanding of living a life with less identities. In the whole indigenous community, there was no such thing as someone better than the other, one that is more rich, one is more important. Or once in 2 weeks, everyone would come together and share the time and connect, and less labels, less. You would see people living with less bubbles of I am better than this person, or I am more important. A good example is this video that it shows it was a funeral of an elder, and the costume, the tradition was to for 2 whole days, and specifically the whole night they would come together and eat a specific type of food. There was a soup, and they would stay the whole night playing games, simply playing games and enjoying, having fun, and very simple games, but really what brought was the human connection, which is very special in the community.
Aquí están tristes porque van a recibir su paliza.
Doing so much show. That was the biggest lesson for me, and more than I went there to help and to be of service, I went much greaterly to learn, to learn a whole new perspective of living, of connecting, communicating with each other, of respecting, and most important, living in with unity instead of just competition.
Arbolito divino, raíces profundos, abraza el mundo, nuestro camino, con tu medicina, todas las plantas divinas, mariririri, yajecito curaca de la selvacita.